Hello everyone, my name is Mackenzie and I'm a teacher with the Cloud Project. Today I'll be talking to you about fossil fuels. If you haven't already watched our other videos about climate change, please go watch those first. They're linked in the card above. Then you can come back to this one. Let's begin. For this lesson, you are going to need your scientific notebook, something to write with like a pen or a pencil, some markers, construction paper, and of course, a learning mindset. Be ready to learn and absorb all of this new information into your brain. For this lesson, we are going to cover some questions. First, what are fossil fuels? Second, how are these fossil fuels affecting our environment? And third, how can we be sustainable during Halloween? Stay tuned to find out. Let's review some key terms and definitions before we learn about what fossil fuels actually are. The first term is greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases are gases that absorb and emit energy and are a key part as to why the Earth is warming due to climate change. The atmosphere is a layer of gas that surrounds the entire Earth, and one of those gases is oxygen. Finally, the ozone layer is a layer of the Earth that is in the stratosphere that absorbs ultraviolet radiation, something that's very harmful to humans. Let's explore our first question. What are fossil fuels? Fossil fuels are natural, non-renewable energy sources that are created by humans burning items that are full of carbon. These are mostly formed by prehistoric plants and animals that fossilized and then compressed. One example of a fossil fuel is coal. Coal is a sedimentary rock that is formed when plants are compressed at very high pressures underground. They are mostly used for electricity because burning carbon releases energy. However, burning coal can release chemical compounds that include carbon. Petroleum is another form of fossil fuel. This is oil that's found underneath the Earth's surface and extracted through drilling machines, like what we learned in the fracking video. These oils are used for fuels and electricity to power things like cars. These also release carbon into the atmosphere when they are burned. Let's take a moment to stop and think. Take some time to write answers to these questions in your scientific notebook. First, what are fossil fuels? Next, what is one example of a fossil fuel? And lastly, what is one thing that coal is used for? You may pause the video here and come back when you have answered the questions. Alright. Let's answer our second idea. How do fossil fuels harm our environment? To understand this better, we are going to talk about what chemicals harm our environment. Firstly, greenhouse gases that produce the most emissions are carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and hydrofluorocarbons. I know, they may sound like very long names, but just know that chemicals like these produce over 6 million metric tons of emissions in 1 year. That's a lot. In contrast, water vapor exists in large quantities in the atmosphere, but very little of it comes from human activity. Today, we're going to do a quick activity. First, make sure to gather your markers and construction paper. Next, we are going to model what impact fossil fuels have on the environment by making a chart. Make sure to include coal, burning coal, carbon releasing, and entering the atmosphere. You can also include carbon forming with oxygen to become carbon dioxide. Here's an example of what that might look like. You can pause the video and start working on your spectacular creations. Great job, everyone! To conclude our lesson, we're going to head into a fun, seasonal topic about sustainability and Halloween. So our question for this section is, how can we be sustainable during Halloween? One way is to rethink transportation when you go trick-or-treating. Walking is a great way to get around your community because it avoids using fossil fuels to get around. It's the same thing for biking or scootering. Another way to think about the waste you create on Halloween is your candy wrappers. A lot of candy wrappers are discarded improperly on Halloween, so make sure to avoid accidentally dropping wrappers as you walk around. Instead, you can carry a reusable trash bag to put all the wrappers in after you're done eating your candy. Great job today! That was our lesson on fossil fuels, so let's do a quick recap of what we learned today. Fossil fuels come from remains of fossils and they negatively affect our environment when they are released into the atmosphere. If we continue to burn fossil fuels, it's going to have a huge impact on our planet. There's a lot of harmful things humans do to the environment, but if you believe in a better future and you stay aware, we can combat environmental issues just like this one. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and learned something new. If you did, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the Cloud Project. Till next time!